Ladies and gentlemen, the main area of concern appears to be the cranial cavity.
Dive beneath the mainstream and you'll find these little treasures. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down the top 10 UK comedies you've probably never heard of. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're focusing on those hilarious TV shows from the UK that for one reason or another have failed to enter the limelight and reach the same levels of popularity enjoyed by more conventional shows. Number 10, Snuff Box.
Ah, c'est très bien, Daisy. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça, que c'est? Que ça, que c'est, que ça?
Fans of absurd comedies will likely recognise the faces of Matt Berry and Rich Fulcher, but did you know they did a show together?
A friend of yours, I presume?
My fiancé.
You!
Much like their other work, Snuff Box is dark, satirical and very weird, starring Berry and Fulcher as distorted versions of themselves, with a series of wacky sketches spliced in for good measure.
I think you look like Captain Birdseye, and if you want to grab hold of my cat o' nine tails, I suggest you walk the f***ing plank.
Blurring the lines between what's real and what's fake, and what you should and probably shouldn't laugh at, it's laced with brilliant characters and sporadic musical numbers. Number 9, Jam.
Some of my friends will get up and deliver a humorous eulogy, which I'll be there to enjoy.
If you like your comedy to carry a controversial edge, then get a load of Jam. Penned by Chris Morris of The Day Today and Brass Eye, in basic terms it's a sketch show, but trust us when we say that this one is very surreal and very close to the bone.
Should make the plug hole in his mouth gurgle when you turn it on.
With many of the episodes touting criticism due to the questionable content such as infant death and highly sexual themes, Jam is certainly an acquired taste, and it's definitely an example of Morris's darker work.
It's not a parking meter, it's a car!
I know it's a fucking car, you stupid woman!
Number 8, Help.
It's like she's from a different world.
Don't you like Beyonce, Tanya?
She's alright. She's a bit derivative.
With Harry Enfield and Paul Whitehouse, many people favour one over the other. Well, for Whitehouse lovers, Help is a breath of fresh air.
And you're now in a deep, deep trance. Good.
Teaming up with Christopher Langham, the series follows a psychotherapist, played by Langham, who is visited by a series of different patients, played by Whitehouse.
When other people make a dove appear out of thin air, there's a high level of skill involved, whereas I, just...
Good.
It's not an illusion, it's a real bird. Feathers and shit.
The subtle back and forth dialogue showcases some brilliant, refreshingly raw writing. It's not gung-ho, but it's still a very clever series.
Tanya, you're a very perceptive little girl.
Yes, I am.
And intelligence is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, don't patronise me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
How can you tell?
Because intelligence is a wonderful thing.
Number 7, W1A.
Okay, so here's the thing with the BBC. The thing with the BBC, so we talked about this stuff at Perfect Curve, and here's the thing with it, here's what it is. The thing with the BBC is it's like, in branding terms, it's really boring.
A show completely taking the mick out of the BBC and yet commissioned by the very same broadcaster. We don't know how it got made either.
Idris Elba.
I know.
But he's not actually a presenter, is he?
No, he isn't, no. I know, but he's just such a beautiful man.
But for those who enjoy a brutal look behind the scenes of the TV industry, W1A will be right up your street.
I mean, just thinking laterally for a moment.
Yes, very good.
All right, okay.
Is it worth thinking about coming at this whole thing the other way round?
Ian is particularly keen to resolve the matter by the end of the meeting.
Starring the likes of Hugh Bonneville and Jessica Hines, it delves into new show ideas, company controversies, and is littered with celebrity cameos. And most of the characters throughout are either narcissistic douchebags or just plain morons.
I is Z.
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 Y.
Y, right.
Yeah.
Number 6, Monkey Dust.
Keep going, Mr. Morrison, and we'll let you know as soon as one of the hospital's life support machines becomes available.
Moving away from linear sketches next for something that uses its cartoon formula for an unrealistic, fast-moving, shape-shifting comedy. Identifiable by its entertaining artwork and seamless transitions from one scene to the next, Monkey Dust is bursting with bizarre characters, ridiculous voiceovers and taboo topics, including terrorism, paedophilia and racism.
I am the pedofinder general.
Mother Mary, protect us. I've done nothing.
Seriously, this show plays out more like a weird dream than a TV show. It's like South Park meets Monty Python on LSD.
I never done it. I only said I done it so they wouldn't force me to marry Lee Chapman.
Number 5, Inside Number 9.
It's all right, keep your voice down. You'll give us all away.
Yeah, chill out, bitch. Sorry, that was misjudged.
Probably the most well-known entry on today's list, it's often overshadowed by Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith's other work, The League of Gentlemen and Psychoville. If you're a fan of those shows, you'll love this.
Though I would say 1 in every 5 calls will just be silent.
That's right, because they're plucking up the courage.
Yes, yeah, you just have to make sure they're not plucking something else.
You mean masturbating?
A collection of completely unrelated stories lasting around half an hour, it's filled with the duo's trademark dark humour and clever comedy, as well as themes of anguish and death. If you want engrossing stories by 2 amazingly talented writers but are short on time, give it a whirl.
No, not with you. You have to go down. Yeah, that's clean cut, yeah.
Give him any ideas.
Number 4, Asylum.
What does this remind you of?
Man who's just ordered a pizza doing a butterfly with his hands.
Essentially a black comedy based in an asylum with a famous comic playing each patient, this series moves from room to room, introducing zany characters and watching them bounce off one another.
Tedious broadcast. I witnessed the rape of language.
It's just a quiz show.
Unique in the fact that it gave stand-up acts a platform to showcase their talent and material, it features many funny people during their early careers, including Simon Pegg, Julian Barrett and Jessica Hines. Oh, and it was created by Edgar Wright and David Walliams.
I suppose your friend will want to come along as well.
No, he's dead.
Number 3, Noble and Silver, Get Off Me.
Action.
Action.
Action. Action.
And action. Personally think the one we should go for is the making of.
Another jump behind the camera next with a show about making a show.
What's this?
Shipwreck's gone for a job.
Is it a joke?
No, I went for an interview. How's your jury service?
Don't ask.
Oh, sorry. Here, Mel. I really need this job. I mean, somebody's got to pay for this.
Created by Kim Noble and Stuart Silver, it hilariously delves into the problems writers and directors face when trying to create a TV show, from tussles for creative control to paying for celebrity cameos.
I'm just wondering whether, does that make you a typical E4 viewer?
It's as meta as it comes, with many of the scenes cutting between sequences from their show and the tense moments afterwards when someone yells cut, all stitched together like a documentary-style college project. Brilliant.
Could we have a listen to that track that you did? That one. We might change it around a bit.
Number 2, Look Around You.
What's the largest number you can think of?
100,000?
999,000.
1 million.
At first glance, you might be fooled into thinking Look Around You is a genuine show from the 70s or 80s.
There's our spirit. He appears to be in some distress. Perhaps he's missing colleagues or loved ones back at home. He may even be missing you.
Satirising educational films and science shows of the time, its balance of recognisable imagery and ridiculous nonsensical content make it both relatable and funny as hell.
You'll notice that the water has changed colour from invisible to brown. What we have produced is imbenzolamine nitrotamine, more commonly known as whiskey.
Created by Robert Popper and Peter Serafinowicz, it's a seriously smart show that offers something completely different.
We'll come back to the ants later. In the meantime, thanks, ants. Thanks.
Number 1, Garth Marenghi's Darkplace.
Good gravy. A small bunch of objects are flying of their own accord in E-Wing. And apparently more objects are heading this way. Goodbye.
According to its self-proclaimed genius creator, Garth Marenghi, played by Matthew Holness, Darkplace was a show rejected by Channel 4 due to its radicality, and not the fact that it was just pants.
So far, we're giving us some Lucas Nest scenes through hell, but she said she's having visions. Blood Gat's a real horror show.
Another example of a spoof within a spoof, Darkplace features interviews with the show's actors played by Holness, Richard Ayoade and Matt Berry, interspersed with scenes of their cheesy 80s TV show, which has finally been given the green light.
But Dean would deliberately buy bigger heeled boots to make me look smaller on set. So then I would buy a boot with a bigger heel to up the ante.
It's both pure trash and pure brilliance. Well, except for the bike chase, that is flawless.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and subscribe for more great content.